In this video, I'm going to show you how to compile and install Asterisk on a Rackspace cloud server using the CentOS Linux image. We will also download and compile the .dotty library for those applications that require timing within Asterisk. If some of this seems overwhelming for you and you're looking for a beginner's guide on Asterisk, I have a Udemy course called Asterisk Made Easy that will take you through the beginning steps of Linux and Asterisk to build you up to be able to install and compile your own system. Act now and you can get a special discounted offer on that course. The follow-up course to that is Learn to Write Asterisk Dial Plans, where I will teach you how to build your own custom dial plans using examples that I've provided and making modifications to that. You can also get a special discounted offer by clicking on this YouTube video. To get started building our Asterisk server, you will need to log into your Rackspace Cloud account and create a server. Log in and click the Create Server button. Once you've clicked the Create Server button, you will be asked to create a server name. I'm just going to call mine Asterisk 01. Then you will select a region. You have the option of using a next generation cloud server or a first generation. For production reasons, I would use the next generation because it does give you some additional options. Those are more expensive servers, so for testing purposes, I'm going to go ahead and use the first generation server out of Chicago. Once I've done that, I scroll down to my image, and I'm going to go ahead and select my CentOS 5.8 image. Then scroll down again and select a server size. Now, depending on if this is for production or for testing, you will want to select the appropriate size. Since I'm going to be testing with this, I'm just going to use the small 256 megabyte and 10 gigabits of storage. This is the cheapest option that is available and is sufficient to run a production environment if you have a smaller environment. Then click the Create Server button, and at this point we will get a pop-up that gives us the password of the server, and now we just need to wait for the server to finish building. The server build process can take anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes, so please be patient and allow your server to build before we continue on. You will get an email notification alerting you that your server has been built. I would recommend pausing this video until your server completes. That way you can continue along with the instructions. If you didn't copy and paste your password like myself, you can go to the console and change the password by clicking on the Actions menu, then clicking on Change Password. I'm going to set a new password here. Then I click the Change Password button. Now I'm able to log into my server. To log in, I'm going to need the IP address, the public IP address, which I will copy. You can see this is the internet interface, so this is the public IP address. I'm going to switch over to my terminal. Using the SSH tool, I'm going to log into the server. You'll use the format SSH space root at the IP address, which I'll paste in, and then hit enter. You will get a message that looks just like this. Go ahead and type yes, hit enter, and now enter in the password that you entered in to reset, or paste in the password if you copied it when the server was created. Now that I'm logged in, if you copied your password when you first created the server and you'd like to reset the password to something that you'll remember, you can use the PASSWD command, hit enter, and it'll ask you to enter in your new password. I'm going to go ahead and enter in my password. It will ask me to confirm the password, hit enter, and now I have a new password that I can remember how to log into. Once I've done this, you will want to run the yum y update command. You'll be able to get a copy of the commands that I'm using by going to my website at jonathanmanning.com. Here I've listed out all the commands that you will run while we do this installation. First, we're starting with the yum-y update. To get a copy of all the commands that will be used during this video, go into the video description where there is a link going to my website where you can find all of those commands typed out for you, where you can just copy and paste those. Yum-y update may take a little bit of time, so please allow it to download and install all the required packages. You can pause the video while you let yours update. Once yum-y update has completed, we have another step to take of this sed command. Go ahead and copy and paste that. And hit enter. Now we want to reboot the server using the reboot command. The reboot process does not take very long at all. Since this is a cloud server, they reboot relatively quickly. Give it a few minutes and then try to log in again using the SSH command. Now I'm able to log in again, and it's going to ask me for my password. Since I used the password command and reset the password, I'm going to use the new password that I set up, followed by enter. Now I'm logged into the machine again, and I can go back to my list of steps. Here you'll see we have another yum-y install, and this is the list of packages that we need to install with the server. You can go ahead and copy and paste these in. I'm going to copy and paste them out of my text file. Now I'll just paste those into the command line and hit enter. This will start the process of installing all the packages that are required to compile and install Asterisk, as well as Dotty and libpri. You'll see the process go through and download the packages as well as install them, just like we did with the yum-y update. This process can take a rather long amount of time, so if you'd like to pause the video until yours is complete so we can continue on to the next step, that would be recommended. Just to point out some of the packages that we are installing, of them is the most important package of the kernel for Zen. And Zen is the Linux distribution that we're using because this is a cloud server. So we need to have that kernel installed in order to be able to compile Dotty. That's one of the key points of this process, is to install that package. Then we can go through and do the compilation of Dotty without any errors. Now that all the packages are installed, we can continue along with a full reboot of the system. I'm going to go ahead and copy that from my text file, but if you're following along using the web page, you can see that the reboot is the next step. I'm going to go back to my command line, paste that in, hit enter, and again, we're going to have to wait a few minutes to let the system reboot itself, and then we'll log back in. Now I can log in using my new password. And now that I've logged in, I can access my CD user source directory. In here is where I'm going to download all of my packages, Asterisk, Dotty, libpri, and compile all of those to do the installation on this system. If we go back over to our text file, you can see we have all the steps here, as well as on the website. All of these steps are available to copy and paste for you. So I'm going to go ahead with the first step, which is going to be downloading Asterisk. We'll do a wget. So I'll just paste that in, hit enter. It's going to go ahead and download that package. I'm going to go back to the text file while that's downloading and grab the next line item, which is going to download Dotty. Once that downloads, I can go to the next, which is libpri, paste that in, hit enter, and that's downloaded. So now if I do an ls using the Linux command to show the files, you can see that we have these tar.gz files within this directory. Now I need to go through the process of extracting these. So I'm going to use the tar command to extract Asterisk. Then I'm going to extract Dotty. And finally, libpri. At this point, we're going to install Dotty first. So we'll use this command to enter the Dotty directory. And we'll use this command to actually compile and install it. This process may take a little while, so you could go ahead and pause this video while yours completes. Now Dotty has completed compiling and installing. We can see this by getting this message that says Dotty has been configured. List of detected Dotty devices says no hardware found. And that's because we're using a cloud server that does not have any physical cards or anything that Dotty would be able to detect. So we're just going to be using a virtual Dotty driver for any timing that may be required when you're using Asterisk. The next step is to go ahead and install libpri. So here we're going to copy and paste this command, which is going to put us in the libpri directory, and then we're just going to run make and make install. So I'll go ahead and copy and paste that and enter that in. libpri has finished installing, so now we can go on to compiling Asterisk. I'm going to use the next command to enter into the Asterisk directory, and we're going to have to use the configure command because this is a 64-bit operating system. We are specifying to use the lib64 directory. And then we're going to run make menu select and then make install. So I'm going to hit enter and we'll start compiling Asterisk. Then once it starts going into the process, make menu select will present us with some options where we can choose what libraries or packages of Asterisk that we want to install, or modules, what modules we want to include with Asterisk. And you can add additional ones in there. I'm just going to go ahead and use the default ones that are included. I just wanted to show you what make menu select does, so that way you could go back and change the different modules if you needed to recompile Asterisk, or there was a specific module that you needed to include in your Asterisk installation. Here we see the make menu select loading up. And as you can see, this is a GUI based menu where I can come in and select different modules. The most common modules being the different channel drivers. Of course, what I would be recommending is using chan_SIP for your standard SIP connectivity. That's already enabled, so I'm not going to make any changes. I'm just going to click Save and Exit using my tab to get to the Save and Exit button, and then spacebar to selecting Save and Exit. Now Asterisk will finish compiling and building out all the modules that have been selected within the Make Menu Select menu. This process, again, can take some time, so if you'd like to pause this video while you wait for your system to finish compiling, that would be recommended. Now that Asterisk has finished compiling and installing, we can use the make samples command. I'm going to copy and paste that in. That will create all the sample files. Last, we can use the make config command, which is going to give us the service file to be able to start Asterisk. So now we can run the service.start command. And last, we can do the service asterisk start command. Now we can log into the Asterisk CLI using the *r vvv option, and this will bring us to the running Asterisk console. And I can do a core show uptime, and you can see that the system's been up and running for 19 seconds. So now we have a fully functional Asterisk system on this Rackspace cloud server that I could go in and configure my SIP extensions, my SIP peers. I can configure all my extensions.conf files to have this act as a cloud Asterisk server for me. I'm going to go ahead and exit the CLI, and now you can go ahead and build this however you would like. Keep in mind, the firewall is still enabled because we did not make any changes to the Linux firewall rule set, which means any SIP traffic you tried to send to or from the server would not work. You can do a firewall stop and drop all the firewall rules so it just makes the server wide open. I strongly recommend you do not do that and actually build a firewall rule set that will allow just the certain ports that you need open. And again, if you want more information or are looking for more direction on how to configure Asterisk and get better information, don't forget to take my courses, Asterisk Made Easy, or Learn to Write Your Own Asterisk Style Plans. Those are both Udemy courses, and you can access those through my website at jonathanmanning.com. Continue learning more about Asterisk. Taking my courses on Udemy will give you the expert skills that you are looking for with Asterisk. For example, take Asterisk Made Easy, where you will learn the basics of Linux and Asterisk and how to configure SIP carriers, SIP peers, be able to make and receive phone calls outside to the PSTN, either cell phones or landlines. It also gives you troubleshooting skills as well as advanced techniques in how to configure and build your own Asterisk system. Then move on to Learn to Write Your Own Asterisk Dial Plans. In this course, you will learn how to build your own custom dial plan using easy-to-follow examples that you can take and modify for your new clients or existing clients that are using Asterisk PBXs today. Build your own Asterisk dial plan for your organization and become the rockstar telecom guy that you know you always could be.